David, welcome. Dr. David Eisenbach, very pleased and privileged to have you here today. Thank you, because we just have a silly morning. If you want brownies, you want pretzels, you want Christmas M&M kind of cookies, and look at this. We got look what they. Don't you love these pretzels?
I love them.
Do you eat those things?
Yeah.
You keep yourself in shape. I know it's the worst though, right? I eat them
This time of year, forget
Me
about
too,
it.
man. Me too. I'm right
For
with
the
you.
next 2 months, man, it's just me.
Capalbo. Where are you from? Where are you from?
New
David?
Jersey.
You're from where?
South Orange, New Jersey.
So South Orange, you know Capalbos.
I know
Everybody
New
knows Capalbos, right?
Yeah.
This is great. South Orange is a great town now, by the way. That's a very happening town.
Yeah.
You know?
It got happening after I left. But,
What about Maplewood and South
Oh,
Orange?
it's crazy.
Take a brand. Help yourself to all this stuff.
Yeah, it's the new Brooklyn out there.
You know what? Well said. It really is in Jersey.
Yeah.
A lot of millennials and a lot of young married couples are going out there. David, thank you. David Eisenbach is a historian and Columbia University professor, and we're still trying to wrap our heads around what happened Friday with on a much more serious note on this Pensacola shooting. Yeah. So then you hear, as soon as I heard it, and you don't like to say it because, God forbid, you're going to be racist if you say, oh, it could be an Islamist, it could be an Islamic fundamentalist. I'm not supposed to say that, but that's me talking. And so as soon as you see the name is an Arabic name, you think, well, sure enough, it's from Saudi Arabia, this guy. Kills 3 sailors, and he's watching videos, and it's all over online. I mean, how concerned should we be of these people from other countries, and not just jihadists, but from all walks of life, and we let them into our military bases, David?
We let them into our military bases, and once again, we have a president, and we had this under George W. Bush, Barack Obama. This is a bipartisan thing, looking the other way if Saudi Arabia attacks us.
And it is Saudi. Now, Frankie's been all over it, and Tucker Carlson as well, how we do anything Saudi Arabia does. Now, I'm diplomatic enough to know, and I think I've been a businessman long enough to know, is it money? Is that why we don't touch them?
It's the petrodollar. When we got off the gold standard in 1971, we had to back up the dollar with oil. So we cut a deal with the Saudis in which we got them to agree not to buy oil in any other currency but the U.S. dollar. This forces every country on earth to hoard dollars. That props up the value of the dollar and allows us to keep on going in the spending spree and allow us to print money left and right.
Wow. So it's all about that. So
it's all about the dollar.
Did Richard Nixon took us off
That's right.
the gold standard, correct?
And Richard Nixon, Henry Kissinger cut a deal with the Saudis to then prop up and back the dollar with the petrodollar. That's why we have to keep on defending Saudi Arabia no matter what they do, even when they attack us.
Any way to change that? To go back on the gold standard? Who said that? That's Steve. Correct me if I'm wrong. Steve Forbes is a friend. Does he say that we might be better off on the gold standard?
A lot of people do, but it would require us to be a lot more fiscally responsible and not.
Now wait a minute. Let's not get dramatic here.
Not run $1 trillion deficits every year.
Oh no! Let's not get out of control here. It all has to do with oil.
Absolutely, and props up the entire economy. And that's why we have to send troops to defend Saudi oil fields from Yemen, even though Yemen's just defending themselves from being bombed every day by Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
With U.S. Arms.
Yeah, but should we indeed be training Saudi nationals on American military bases?
Well, we should do full background checks, which we do not do.
No! They'd let them in?
We just let them in.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you remember when Donald Trump put all these different countries in the Middle East on a list so that we would do full background checks to even get in?
Yes, sir.
Right? Saudi Arabia's not on that list.
Oh, my.
They get fast-tracked. They come right in without having to go through the normal visa process because of this relationship.
I don't want to. I want to stay in this line of thought, if I may, Professor. But you know, it's going to George W. Bush after 9/11, and then you heard those stories about how the Saudi families all were just taken out. They were picked up. All the planes were grounded, except the Saudi families got out. I mean, first of all, there's an element of truth to all of that.
There is absolutely. The FBI was not allowed to do a regular interview of even members of bin Laden's family. They were fast
after the fact?
Right after, in the days when no flights could leave, right? Those flights were allowed to go out, right? And we have definite reason to believe the FBI was on the trail of a number of people beforehand and after, but we still have not gotten any justice on that. And that's why Congress passed the law that allows the families, 9/11 families, to sue the government of Saudi Arabia. Barack Obama vetoed that law. Congress had to override his veto. So this is a bipartisan thing. right? That Democrats and Republicans have covered up for the Saudis. And one of my disappointments with Donald Trump as he hasn't called out Saudi Arabia. Instead, where does he go on his first foreign visit?
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but he knows this. Is there something he knows that, that maybe it's such a delicate balance?
It is, because let's get this straight. If we were to know the truth about 9/11, if we were to know what Saudi Arabia is really all about, we would have to reorder our finances. All of a sudden, if we had destabilization in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and now all of a sudden that oil supply is put in jeopardy, that puts our currency in jeopardy. So America has to make a choice. Do we want the truth, or do we just want to be able to keep the printing presses rolling and run these deficits?
So Dr. David Eisenbach, a historian at Columbia University, Professor, what changes do we need to make as a country with respect to Saudi Arabia? Yes, sir.
Give us the truth. There is a bill before Congress introduced by Tulsi Gabbard that will release all 9/11 investigation files done by the FBI, all right, to the American public. Let's just finally give us the truth about the Saudi government's support for 9/11 hijackers. Once we get the truth, then we can decide how we respond. But give us the truth.
Can you go back to a gold standard that will suffice to replace using petrol as a backing of our dollar?
That's going to be tricky. But I think we're probably headed in that direction anyway. Look, we can't keep on running these deficits ad infinitum. Eventually, it's going to catch up.
And again, Doc, we appreciate your time and forgive my ignorance. But if we're depending on oil, but we're pretty much self-sufficient now. Donald Trump has made us energy sufficient.
That's right. And the fact is that we have acquired energy and oil independence, but our dollar still depends on the oil. And that it doesn't matter if we have enough oil to survive. The world's economy depends on that oil. The U.S. dollar depends on that oil. If we allowed that to go under, we would have a major reordering of our finances in this country.
Yeah, all right. Dr. David Eisenbach, we're going to talk again. You must come back again. Fascinating. And again, just a solution base. What do you think we should do?
Just give us the truth. That's all I'm asking.
And once we have
That's
the truth,
all we want. And then we can decide how we respond to Saudi Arabia. But we can't keep on covering it up, whether it's the Khashoggi murder or whether it's this Pensacola attack. We cannot continue to look the other way.
All right, Dr. David Eisenbach right there.